you're someone who's struggling with flat ground and the progression through it, then you might want to think about gamifying it a bit. And here's one way you can approach that. So something I like to do is pick 3 tricks, right? One that's super easy, consistent. You know, for me, that would be something like a kickflip, but it can be something as simple as just like a little manual, right? First trick. Second trick, it's something that's a bit less consistent, but fairly around from a 6 to an 8. So something like that for me would be, I would say, a back 3. 6 to 8. Then there's a trick that you want to learn, and it's a bit challenging, and that could be for me something like nollie backside flip, right? So like I said, it can vary. It's very contextual to your skating, the tricks you have, your bag of tricks. The reason why I bring this up is because when people are learning new tricks, trying with the intention to progress on flat ground, they get very burnt out from just trying one trick throughout the whole session. And so this kind of gives you the opportunity to refine tricks. I just noticed this is like this. To refine tricks you already have, practice the ones you have consistently, and then even learn the new one like you're trying to do in the past. But the difference here is that you're not just focused on something new and forgetting about what you've already learned. And so I'm gonna give 3 examples of what that looks like for me. So basically I'm gonna do a total of 9 tricks, 3 tricks in a line for the first one. So like I said, first one's very consistent, second one's 6 to an 8, third one's like maybe one that you're learning or one that you still need a lot of work in, and that's anywhere from like a 1 to a 5. So I'm gonna start off with tray flip, back 3, and then a nollie backside flip, and we'll talk about how that feels after each session, after each landing. All right, tray flip. Oh. Okay. See, the back 3 needs work. Oh, even your best tricks need work, but all right, landed that. Now nollie backside flip. To be completely transparent, I've already learned nollie backside flips, but they still feel very wishy-washy. And so when I want to practice the trick so that I can get it more consistently or up to a 6 to an 8, and hopefully off of some obstacles, this is what I do, so that I don't burn out and just spend the whole 30 minutes to an hour just trying one trick. That can be very frustrating and leads to burnout most of the time. So I still feel like I still feel hyped right now because I'm practicing tray flip back 3s, because there's always room for improvement, and then I'm trying the nollie backside flip. So tray flip. That's fine. Usually, because this is something that I do consistently, I'm not too stuck on landing it, in a row. But sometimes that is the game. For here, we're just gonna move on, even if I miss the first or second.
Oh, nollie front. What's that?
Nollie front. Nollie 360 backside.
Yeah.
Nollie back 360. Whatever. Okay. So we need to get a good one. Okay, trick that. Wow, I can't pop it. For whatever reason, I can't pop it. That one scooped very well, but I wasn't engaged the whole time. And for context, we're not in there because the wind is super strong, kind of flowing in and out, and so we kind of got to stay towards the edge or on this platform. All right, nollie backside. And this allows me to not be so upset when I'm not landing them perfect, right? Because I still have so much more opportunities to practice. Try staying in the shade. At least the front. Tray flip, back three. My shoe look crazy. I have this insole that doesn't match the shoe, and so it feels very unstable. Okay. Ollie backside.
Wanna just try?
Go down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, also, for the sake of the video, you want to try?
Yeah, just try.
We're going to go down there. Excuse the audio if there's wind. We're working on the mic. Appreciate you guys for following. All right, you can start on my right. Right here. You want to make sure you're skating flat, somewhere where you got space and you don't feel restricted. Having said that, listen to our own advice.
Oh.
Okay. There we go. I got more space. Had more time to breathe in between. Still not perfect, but for the sake of the video, we're gonna go on to the second line of three. And so quick I would say summary of how that was beneficial. So generally tray flips are a trick that can easily get lost because they feel so easy that I forget about them. That makes sense. And so when I am skating a set of stairs or am out in the street, it can easily become a trick that for whatever reason becomes difficult because I haven't given the time to continue to practice it. So I found that sessions like this where I structure this 1, 2, 3 approach, it allows me to still maintain the bag of tricks that I have. And so therefore practicing a tray flip like that is super good. And then the back three becomes, because I practice it in this sequence, it becomes a trick that I can have in a line when I go to skate the streets or even just try to flow around the park and have fun, not thinking of falling. As for the nollie backside flip, I understand it has a lot of work to do, and that's why it's the last trick of the three. And again, super helpful because it doesn't leave so much room for burnout or feeling frustrated because you can't land one trick. Think about how you feel after you've put so much energy into one thing and it doesn't work. That's kind of how it feels like when you just focused on one trick throughout the whole session, which is why you kind of only give it a third of your energy and but still get more than what you've expected from it.
And the first 2 tricks can build the confidence you might need to land the last one.
Well, the first one you already have confidence. Oh, right, yeah, and this also allows you to use the momentum you build within 1, 2, and then kind of give you that extra oomph, for lack of a better term, to land the other one and give it its full the full energy it needs, right? Because sometimes it's easy to get very discouraged and keep learning a new trick but not really giving it 100% because you're already fatigued or frustrated. So we're gonna go on to the second line. Second line is gonna be switch flip, fakey shove it, fakey front shove, and I'm trying to think.
Fakey front shove is harder than the switch flip?
For me, yeah. And then and very contextual. For whatever reason, people can have this be switch flip, fakey hard, and then a kick flip. It just depends on the skater. You have to think about what those tricks are for you and practice that apply this approach with tricks that are contextual to you. So you have to be a bit intuitive to follow through with this process. Wow, I was got so itchy. All right, so switch flip, fakie front shove, and I'm trying to think which one I want to learn. Switch frontside flip. No.
That's literally the trick I thought right before you said it.
It's because I've done switch frontside flips, but it's a trick that I lose a lot, and I don't feel like I have confidently currently. So, but maybe that's not. So generally, it'd be like something a bit more difficult, but I don't want to spend too much time in this video.
Switch frontside flip.
Switch straight flip. There we go.
Okay.
I've learned. Yeah. We're just gonna land one.
Fakie front pop looks so easy.
Yeah.
Maybe you're trying to learn. What are you trying to get better with that?
Well, the speed. So I can even go faster on the second one.
So more control.
Yeah, just more control, because I can do it perfect on flat, but if I want to take it down some set of stairs or onto an obstacle, it becomes very, questionable. Whereas the switch flip, I can take this onto an obstacle and even off an obstacle, and that's why it's the first trick out of the 3. Whereas the switch straight flip, I still can only really do it on flat ground confidently, right? So it's not like you have to choose a trick you're learning, but it also may be a trick you want to build the confidence and match 1 and 2, right? Because I've done switch straight flip on a 4 stair, but it felt very gritty as far as just trying to stick it. Stiff, very stiff, holding so much tension, and it should feel fluid like trick number 1 and 2. Okay. Oh. Overthought it. The first one, the way I landed my switch flip, threw me off.
Yeah.
And so it's okay to reset. Most times I don't. I just, for the video I did, I guess. But I just kind of continue it. But like I said, it helps to reset if you're really relying on that momentum, right? That could have been a nasty shinner. Oof. Okay. I'm gonna use this time to reset. It takes a lot of energy. And the last thing I want to do is not give each trick their fair attempt. Here we go. I think this one's it. I'm heavy on that back foot, you see?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try it. It's very taxing. That's the straight flip. So I need to make sure I'm composed. And sometimes you feel very rested, that it doesn't take this long to reset yourself. But today, I just skated earlier. Actually, I had the very heel tutorial I filmed, and then also skate in the morning. So my energy isn't 100% or 80, and so it's important to understand how you are when you're practicing or learning something, right? Because you got to give yourself some grace, but the only way you can do that, or not the only way, but one of the ways you can improve that is by understanding where you're at as far as energy levels go. You can ask yourself questions like, have I drank some water? Have I ate today? Did I get good sleep? And just things like this that are going to give you a better insight to how you should critique your approach, right? Okay. Before I really even paused, I just gave out. Okay, that was not a fair attempt. I just noticed I had these glasses. I fell on them.
Oh.
Okay, whatever. switch tray.
You think you're being lazy with the fake it front pop?
Maybe. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. So just, you know, it's kind of revisiting why this is super helpful. You get to really fine tune what happened.
Is it revisiting?
Revisiting why this is super helpful is because you get to fine tune, you know, the first two tricks and help you get through the frustration, you know, if you feel, to land the last trick, which is the hardest one, the one you're trying to learn or improve upon, right? Or feel, so that it feels comfortable, a bit more fluid, just like the first two. Okay.
Oh.
One more time.
Oh, this is. Oh.
Alright, that was better. That's better. Reset. Take a breath. Okay. What's up? Third one. Third line is going to be, you see and notice, the first one has to be one that you're basically landing 100% of the time. Sometimes you might think you have it 10 out of 10, but if that day you don't, you have to prioritize that day. You can't, the present basically. You can't be like, oh, usually I have a switch flip so good. I don't know why it's not working and trying to force it. What happened?
This is funny.
Why?
Like that happened.
Oh yeah, because some, you know, I can't be frustrated at the first trick, because if I'm already frustrated at the first trick, it's not really setting me up well to learn or improve the third trick and even the second one. So just listen to where you're at that day.
Maybe that trick becomes the...
Yeah, maybe that trick becomes the third one. Who knows? It's very contextual, and this has to be applied, you know, relative to the context, right? Relative to the skater, relative to your setup, relative to where you're skating. You know, sometimes we have a trick very well, but we need so much space for whatever reason to feel comfortable with it. So let's just say I could only skate between that white line and the end of this basketball. Then I have to choose my tricks accordingly. So in this case, it'd be probably kick flip, nollie flip, and then like a nollie shove. You know, it just depends on the situation.
That's actually a really good idea, concept.
Yeah, I agree. Unbiased. Okay, so the last one is going to be fakie flip, switch front pop, and fakie tray flip. I've had fakie tray flip for so many years already. I don't even remember, but they're still not 100% comfortably. So we're gonna focus on adding some speed, because that's where I struggle with fakie tray flips, and see if I can accomplish that by utilizing the first two tricks as momentum. So what I say, fakie flip, okay, good. 1, 2.
Did you forget?
Yeah, I did. I completely brain farted.
He said,
Alright, so at the fakie tray, I even the momentum got lost as far as from speed. So I'm gonna go a bit faster. I'm going to go a bit faster with nollie fakie flip. Reset, yeah, clearly. If I can't even speak right, I need a reset. Okay, let's get the swag right.
confidence building?
Yeah. was not good. Everything about that was like, whoa.
Like how?
You can aim that.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to focus.
Oh my god.
We're going to focus this attempt on control, okay? So we don't want to be landing and wiggling around. That one's better. So on that one, for the fakie tray, something that I need to work on is opening up to the direction I'm going. And so it's a slow process to get there, right? So just because you're learning, or this is super important, because you're learning the trick, you don't want to be super analytical with your application, because it can lead to burnout, frustration, and you want to make sure that it's not, it's not placing you in a state where you get paralyzed by analysis, okay? Paralysis by analysis. That was harder to say than a fake trade-off. That was harder to say than a fake trade.
Oh. Man, you are heavy on the back foot. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the way I'm falling. But the focus is to improve in increments. Okay, I'm not trying to be perfect with the way I do a fake tray flip, even though I understand my technique is super off, right? You want to win, make small wins, right?
1%.
Small wins, 1% better every day kind of thing, so that you're not, risking that frustration and burnout. Okay.
I saw that.
So what?
You kind of like,
The primo?
you lost balance.
Before I went for the fakie tray,
Yeah.
It's a good assessment. I honestly didn't really catch it. For me, it just felt like I hesitated. And so if you hesitate, a good question might be, why did you hesitate? Is it because you felt off balance? Is it because you forgot the trick like I did earlier? Ask these questions. It's important to understand what is stopping you from
How you fall.
landing. Yeah, also how you fall can tell you a lot. If I fell, because I fell and I went over my tail, I fell forward, right? That's how it looked. That means my weight, I landed primo there, right? But let's say I landed on the grip and I fell forward. That means I was a little too heavy over this tail, over the front, right? Not centered straight over here, right? Sometimes you do land straight centered, and if you do, and you bounce yourself off, it's because you can't really take that impact. So there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot to take from how you fall. So also look at that as a little lesson in itself. All right here, primo. So that means I didn't get a good flip. That means I probably didn't get a good snap, right? Because the snap and the flip need to work in sync. Okay. Go ahead. That was not a great attempt, but we're gonna give it one more go. I did land it. I'm lucky that no one's skating here, so I really do have, a bit more freedom to choose what tricks I'm you know, what tricks are lined up 1, 2, 3. But like I said, it has to be contextual to your skateboarding journey, progression, process. It's about the process, not the goal. In this scenario, it's about building that momentum, choosing tricks that fit, you know, the day, and making sure we're not so over fixated on the goal itself, which is to learn, you know, fake tray flip in this line. Because sometimes you might go to the skate park, go to skating flat ground with the intention to learn a certain tricks, but that day you probably had such a bad how do I say this, you didn't have great sleep, right? So you can't force things, and if you do, you're just going to build on top of restrictions and bad habits. So let yourself practice that intuition and allow the day to speak for itself, or have a say in your process, because it's about the process, not learning that specific trick. Just the once.
Oh,
What?
oh, I was gonna die.
Okay, my dudes, because the phone's gonna die, we're gonna end it short. I did land it once. Leave comments if you want lessons or coaching. Catch me at Prover.Carlos. Having said that, peace out.